It just sort of happened.
I wish I could fight bad guys like you.
I seem to mess it up almost every time.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back. Hi. Like a partner.
Hey guys, this is Fred from Do It Awesome, and this is going to be my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now we're about to jump into spoiler territory for the main film and the post-credit scene, so if you don't want to know anything about this film, I suggest you leave now. First of all, I just have to say that I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. From the special effects to the storyline, I really can't think of too much that I don't like about this film. Right at the beginning, there was a scene that showed Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer in their younger days using the same technology that they used in Civil War to make RDJ look younger. Just in the last few years, that technology has gotten so much better. What they did to these characters was absolutely amazing. It felt like I was looking at Michael Douglas from Romancing the Stone. Returning characters are Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, Ant-Man, who is at the end of his 2-year house arrest and trying to maintain a relationship with his daughter Cassie. Evangeline Lilly as Hope Van Dyne, the Wasp, which this movie in my opinion was more about developing her character as the Wasp. Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, who is desperately trying to get his machine to work in order to rescue his wife from the quantum realm. And Michael Pena as Louise, who stole the spotlight in every scene he was in. That dude was awesome and absolutely hilarious. Jumping on board this time was Randall Park as Jimmy Woo, who was a very awkward FBI agent. We also have Walton Goggins, who plays the B-level villain Sonny Birch, who tries to steal Pym's lab for financial gain. The primary villain is Ava Starr, aka Ghost, which is played by Hannah John Kamen, who you might recognize from Black Mirror and Ready Player One. She is willing to do anything to retrieve Hank's lab that has the ability to restore her body. Lawrence Fishburne, who plays Bill Foster, who was an associate of Hank's from S.H.I.E.L.D., and they worked on the Goliath project together. And then of course we have my favorite, the talented and beautiful Michelle Pfeiffer, who plays Janet Van Dyne, who has been stuck in the quantum realm for the last 30 years. Honestly, that woman never ages, and she's still smoking hot. We find out in this movie that Hank Pym has some skeletons in his closet. He wasn't liked very much, and he had a hard time getting along with his colleagues. He fired Bill Foster from the Goliath project and destroyed the name of Ava's father, Dr. Elias Starr, which resulted in him taking many risks in his experiments in order to restore his name. His final experiment, which involved a quantum tunnel, failed and gave Ava the ability to phase through solid matter and unfortunately killed himself and his wife. Ava was then taken by S.H.I.E.L.D. and trained to be a stealth operative. They were also the ones that gave her the suit. Now for the first half of the movie, you aren't really sure what her motives are, but we come to find out that the same thing that gave her these powers is the same thing that is actually killing her. The way that she explains it in the film is her body exists between multiple realities at one time, and every cell in her body is being ripped apart and stitched back together over and over and over. It's excruciatingly painful for her, and her time is running out. So you understand why she is so determined to get Hank's lab by any means necessary. We learn that Bill Foster is working with her and actually keeps some of her more violent tendencies at bay. But as time goes by, we start to see that Bill is having a harder time trying to reason with her. Now back to the good guys. Scott Lang, as I previously stated, is still on house arrest and has 3 days remaining. He is under close observation by the FBI, so there is no possible way to leave his house. I think this movie does a great job visually expressing how long he's been on house arrest and how bored he's been. From the cardboard castle adventure with his daughter to playing the drums and mastering card tricks. He links back up with Hope and Hank after having what he thought was a dream. We later find out that it was something called quantum entanglement that links Scott and Janet. So it was really Janet sending a message through Scott from the quantum realm. And they use that word quantum a lot in this movie. Scott actually jokes about this by saying, "What do you guys do? Just put quantum in front of everything now?" I really like how Marvel is getting farther and farther out of the box with their ideas. If you go back to Iron Man 1, you can see how they wanted to keep everything grounded, so the audience could watch it and think, maybe this could happen. With the more recent movies, including this one, it seems like anything goes, as long as the story is good. From interdimensional travel in Doctor Strange, to the cosmic universe of Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor, to the quantum realm of this movie. It makes you wonder, where are they going to take this next? Evangeline Lilly really nailed it in this movie, and I really enjoyed every fight scene that she was in. She was a real badass, and the chemistry between her and Paul Rudd was real magic. The scene where they went to the school to retrieve the old suit was one of my favorites, because his suit kept malfunctioning and he had no control over what size he was. For example, he shrunk down to a child size, but was so small he couldn't even reach the door handle, so he had to jump up just to open the door. Everyone in my theater was dying. Another great scene was when Hope went to meet Sonny Burch to get the final component for the quantum tunnel. Sonny tried to blackmail her into selling the lab, and she wasn't having it at all. So she confronted him and his gang as the Wasp. She was kicking major ass until Ghost showed up, and this is where we were first introduced to that character. Another great scene was the car chase scene between Sonny Burch, Ava, Scott, Hope, and Louise, all trying to get the lab for their own personal gain. All the while, Hank Pym is in the quantum realm trying to rescue Janet. This scene was completely nuts. What made it so awesome, though, was the combination of the action, the comedy, and the special effects. My ribs still hurt from when Scott was riding the truck like a scooter. Once Hank returned from the quantum realm with Janet, Ava was there ready to attack, but Janet was able to heal her partially with her newfound powers that she gained from being trapped in the quantum realm. This ties directly to the mid-credit scene where Scott is being sent into the quantum realm to collect quantum energy to finish the healing process for Ava. But before Scott goes inside, Janet warns him to stay out of the tardigrade fields because they will eat him, and to watch out for time vortexes. Once inside, Scott starts collecting the energy. What a lot of people probably don't realize is, though, is the colors flashing around him looked a lot like the colors of the Infinity Stones. When he's ready to come back, Hope starts a countdown for re-entry. She counts 5, 4, 3, and all radio transmissions stop. The camera cuts back to the rooftop where we see that Hope, Hank, and Janet were all victims of the snapshot, and their bodies were turned into dust. So now we're at the same point in time as the end of Infinity War. Overall, I thought this film was great. It ties into other MCU films just enough to be connected, but it could remain a standalone film. I'm really eager to see what happens in the next Avengers 4. But what about you? What do you think? How will Ant-Man get out of the quantum realm? How will Hank Pym's technology help the team in Avengers 4? And if an ant was big enough, do you think it could really play the drums? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video, and be sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Alright, until next time, I'm Fred with Do It Awesome, and I'll see you on the next one.